Hello and welcome back. Now, we got something installed for you that's different. I was going through my garage the other day cleaning out some wargaming stuff that I don't use anymore, and I ran across my collection of 600th scale World War II battleships, German, British and Japanese, and I looked at them and thought, you know what, these ships deserve another run. And so we're going to do a World War II naval campaign, just for something different. Now, the story goes like this. Germany has conquered France and they got Dunkirk. They got most of the British army and it's in prison camps in Germany. Hitler, using all the charm he could muster, offered a ceasefire to Churchill, who accepted because he had to get his house in order and his defences sorted if he was going to ever stop these Germans from crossing the Channel. The reason they didn't, the High Command convinced Hitler they weren't ready to just yet. So this gave him a bit of time. So Churchill immediately sent 4 of his best battleships to the Far East, where the Japanese have been moving downwards. Now, Yamamoto convinced the Japanese High Command not to attack Pearl Harbor. And although they know that the Americans are helping the British under the table, so to speak, they can deal with this much better than they can bringing down upon their heads the full weight of the American industry and hence their war machine. So the British battleships have ported at a place called Melvin. It's at the southern end of a set of straits called the Barracuda Straits, and the Japanese have descended as far down as the top island in these straits and a port called Tory. Now, this strait, the Barracuda Straits, is totally fictitious, and this particular battle, of course, is totally fictitious. But it'll be interesting to see how it pans out, and I think it should be good fun. Alrighty, so I'm going to present this to you in chapters because there's so much involved in this that we can't do it all in one battle and make the video way too long. So this will be chapter 1 coming up, and I hope you enjoy it because I'm having some fun making it, let me tell you. Okay, here we go. In the week ending 8th of January, British intelligence are advised of 3 Japanese I-class submarines having set sail. Japanese I-class submarines carry 3 small seaplanes, hence that catapult you see out the front, so they make an excellent reconnaissance platform, provided the weather's fine. Week ending 15th of January, Japanese intelligence is informed of a huge force designated H leaving harbour and what they constitute. Week ending the 22nd of January, British intelligence informed of a huge Japanese fleet leaving harbour designated Force M and what it's made up of. Japanese intelligence. British invasion force has just taken Barracuda Island. Japanese intelligence now informed all British ships have set sail from harbour. Japanese Force A is given instructions to attack the British at Barracuda Island. Japanese submarine Ho has been sent east to try and make contact with the British force leaving harbour. The British forces setting sail from Melvin are 3 parts. Force R, the main battleships and carrier, are to patrol 200 miles from the entrance to Melvin. Force E is to go to Ambon and take that airfield so that planes can be transferred to Ambon and over to the Barracuda Islands. Force X is 2 submarines. They are to go and patrol outside the Japanese harbour. 24th of January, and the Japanese attack from Force A goes in. 2 squadrons of torpedo bombers, 2 squadrons of dive bombers, and 3 squadrons of fighters head towards Barracuda Island. 3 squadrons of Zeros stay back to protect the 3 flights of Japanese Zeros, it was all over rather quickly. The carrier has received 2 hits on the flight deck, and now the torpedo planes attack. HMS Victorious has been hit hard. 2 torpedo hits in the stern and 2 bombs have hit the flight deck. Her anti-aircraft guns are down to only 27% effectiveness, and she is only able to reach a speed of 10 knots. And now the last Japanese squadron attacks. HMS Victorious was ripped open on the starboard side. She took on a heavy list immediately, capsized and sank very quickly, with enormous loss of life. HMS Hood and HMS Duke of York now lead Force H west in search of the Japanese fleet. It is the 25th of January. In that short action, the Japanese lost 10 aircraft and the British lost an aircraft carrier. As Force H heads west, there are only 2 ships in the fleet, HMS Belfast and HMS Duke of York, that have reconnaissance planes. This places the British at quite a disadvantage. And that is the end of Chapter 1.